Next, I have the pleasure of introducing the keynote speaker for Day 2 of the BCtA Annual Forum, Mr. Adrien Geiger. Mr. Geiger is the Chief Sustainability Officer of L'Occitane Group, a global company that manufactures and retails cosmetic products that are rich in natural and organic ingredients. Now, biodiversity has always been a source of inspiration and innovation for L'Occitane Group that recently gave itself the mission to, quote, empower entrepreneurs and communities to cultivate natural beauty and well-being and to regenerate nature. A father, keen sportsman and former elite athlete, Mr. Geiger is attached to the family and entrepreneurial values of L'Occitane Group, whose history is actually closely intertwined with his own family's history. Now, he is deeply convinced that companies have a central role to play beyond reducing their environmental impact in developing solutions for the planet. Mr. Geiger champions collaboration both within his teams and outside the group. Alongside 9,000 employees and some 15,000 partner producers, he drives ambitious projects aimed at protecting and enhancing natural heritage, regenerating biodiversity and contributing to a nature-positive world. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to Mr. Adrien Geiger.
Hello everyone, and thank you very much to the business call to action teams and the UN development program for this invitation. I'm very, very honored to be with you today. I will try to use my 10 minutes to share our experience with L'Occitane, and hopefully this will inspire some of you, many of you, to go on and to carry on. Basically, in the way he has been introduced is very true. I mean, there is no way we can create value for the environment or the society without inclusivity. If we really want to be sustainable, if we want to create value for the environment and the society, we have to start locally. We have to start with local action, with the stakeholders, and include them all, the whole ecosystem with us. And to illustrate that, I will share you, for me, what's really a strong story that is really important for us. I think many of you know our shea butter hand cream with 20% shea butter. It's our best seller worldwide, and we sell one hand cream every 3 seconds in the world. This hand cream, so as it said, made with 20% shea butter. Shea butter is coming from Burkina Faso. We're working in Burkina Faso with 10,000 women for more than 30 years. And the way we did it, really, actually, the way we started was, how can we help those women even more? And the reason why we have 20% shea butter was because we thought the more shea butter we use in our cream, the more we can help them. And the way we work with them, we started really well. We went there, of course, and really start working with them on how we can do better for them, for the environment, and for the whole ecosystem. So one thing very simple, the way we they transform, those 10,000 women we work with, they transform the nuts into shea butter, was by using wood, cutting shea trees to use for the oven to transform, to heat the machine and to transform the nuts into a butter. And working with them, we realized that actually we could use the outside of the nuts instead of the wood of the trees, and it worked as well. And so we managed to actually save trees. And then we went further. We say, oh, actually, those trees, they are the bread and butter for this ecosystem. So we work with them to actually create a whole area of protection for those trees. And then we saw that this know-how they have to transform the shea into shea butter, which actually come from hundreds of generations, and it's a great know-how, and it could actually be evolved and transmit into the next generation. So we help them to improve their know-how and to transmit into their future generations, so the next generation could carry on using this fantastic know-how. And then because we also started to buy shea nuts in advance, or shea butter actually in advance, they were able to use this advance investment in order to go to the bank and then be able to get some loan, and so invest in the education of their kids. And then we help them also to diversify their the way they could use all this richness that they have from the shade. Because what is also really cool with the shade tree, it's at the center of a huge ecosystem, wide ecosystem with many animals and plants and ingredients interacting with this. So 20 years later, we can say that actually the environment is better than what it used to be before. The society is better than what it used to be before. We have more educated women, more educated kids, better know-how, with a way to transmit into the next generation, and a better environmental ecosystem with trees protected and actually a wildlife that is connected to it. So by selling shea butter hand cream, we are creating value for the environment and the society. But we did it with local action, using our connection with those people, with the fantastic women we're working with, and then expanding with them. But it starts there, it starts locally, it starts in Burkina Faso, where we're working with. And for us, that's the way forward. That's what we're doing also in Provence, with our Verbena, trying to use the connection we have with the producers to bring them into a regenerative agriculture. One other, I think, good example to illustrate this is, so we have set up this very intense goal to be carbon net positive by 2030. In order to do so, we're reducing, of course, strongly our emission of carbon, but we need to offset it also. We need to have sink in order to offset this carbon. And we know how bad it is to just buy credit and see maybe intense forests being grown in places that were not needed. So we work with this fantastic company called Livelihood. We created a fund with them. Actually, it's the third fund that they have created. And there, the whole idea is that they go directly with the population in order to create like regenerative agriculture, or planting with the farmers, next to the villages, next to the people, in order to make sure that the way we find nature-based solution to capture carbon is not only here to help us to reduce our impact, but also creating value for the local environment. And what is fantastic with this is that actually we can get huge scale, because I mean we are a big company, I mean quite big company, and so we need actually to capture a lot of carbon in order to be completely neutral. But with them, we have participated in the first closing 150 millions for this carbon fund, and we will be able to claim by 2030 that we are neutral. And so to finish, I think what is important is those local action that we are doing, that we all need to do. We have to share on everything that we learn from it. This open source approach is super important. If we all try in our environment, in our business, to trace from the very beginning and see how we can create value for the environment and society, including all the stakeholders at a local level, and then share all the knowledge we have, we can really create huge value and transform our industries. So I hope that I inspire some of you, and that many of you will try to do the same. And thank you very much for listening to me.
I'd like to thank all our speakers for opening the second day of the BCtA Annual Forum today. Now, today's sessions will focus on what effective development cooperation can achieve, how the pandemic accelerated collaborations between governments and inclusive businesses, looking at some great examples from the health sector and the role multinational corporations can play in fostering inclusive green recovery. And we'll also play some very interesting video case studies from Sudan and Jordan on how enterprises are undertaking impact management to create shared value and drive businesses. So do stay tuned for that. And we'll also be hosting an interactive discussion on agribusiness and technology, exploring the impact of such business models on tackling poverty and climate change. And this session actually has limited seats, so do be sure to sign in on time for it. And lastly, for our French-speaking audiences, we'll be hosting a very interesting discussion with inclusive businesses from Tunisia, highlighting the scope and challenges for such business models in the country. As we start our sessions for the day, do feel free to tweet and share the event using the hashtag BCTA Forum and Biz for Good.